And now back to the, well, earthquake in the U.S. Financial market. So let's talk about that with Max Keiser, his journalist and broadcaster, joining me from Paris. Many thanks for being with us, Max. Is the worst yet to come for the economy? And do you think these stopgap measures will balance the financial market?
Well, we have a Treasury Secretary in America, Hank Paulson. I'm afraid he's gone insane. He's become like the Colonel Kurtz of Treasury Secretaries. He's gone native. He has co-opted trillions of dollars of America's taxpayer money, and he's playing like a hedge fund, a rogue trader. We have a rogue trader in the Treasury Secretary's office, Hank Paulson. He's being aided and abetted by Ben Bernanke, who's been discredited, as the entire Federal Reserve Bank has been utterly discredited. We're looking at a possible inflationary depression in America, and the worst is yet to come. Yes, much worse yet to come.
Well, speaking of the taxpayers, one thing is for sure, and that is it's the taxpayers in America who will pay for the wrong policies of all these companies that have either gone belly up or facing the danger of going bust. How will the lives of the American people be affected by the federal government's decision to intervene and try and bolster, as they say, shaky markets?
Well, to pay for all this insanity from Hank Paulson, they have two options. They can either raise taxes or they can inflate the money supply. They can destroy these things, U.S. dollars. U.S. dollars, 30 years ago, they used to be backed by this stuff, gold. Now, thanks to Hank Paulson and Ben Bernanke, U.S. dollars are backed by these, bananas. They're absolutely worthless. Anyone buying U.S. dollars today is going to lose money. For the American citizen, the average American, this is what they will experience. The price of food and oil are going to skyrocket due to hyperinflation. The only way they can possibly pay for all these bailouts is to inflate the money supply. This means hyperinflation in America like you had in Germany in the 1920s. This is what the average citizen will experience. Destitute, poverty, social unrest due to flagrant bank mismanagement. Could have been avoided, could have been completely avoided. But unfortunately in America, the banks are run by greedy, insane, private marketeers, and this is the result, unfortunately.
Well, it sounds like a doomsday scenario. Now, in less than 2 months, a new president will be in the White House, inheriting this financial turmoil created by the Bush administration. What does the next commander-in-chief have to brace for, really?
Well, it's not really a doomsday scenario for the rest of the world. Take Iran, for example. You've got a lot of oil and gas. Those prices are going to go up. The Mideast, oil and gas prices are going to go up. China has huge savings. India, the Indian people have huge gold reserves. 13,000 tons are owned by the Indian people. So for the rest of the world, this is actually a fantastic thing. Only the U.S. and Britain are going to experience this horrible disconnection with the rest of the world economy. So it's just a doomsday for them, but there's a certain bit of symmetry here. They spent 20 or 30 years with this neoliberal model, hoisting trillions of dollars worth of debt onto themselves, and now it's gone belly up.
That's absolutely right. Countries with resources don't really have to worry about it. But back to my question, the presidential candidates, Barack Obama, John McCain, either of these two men will be in the White House in less than 2 months. What are they going to have to wait for or brace for?
Well, if you go back to the 1970s, where a similar inflationary spike hit the country, you had Paul Volcker, who is an excellent Fed chairman, probably the best of the past 100 years, much better than Alan Greenspan or Ben Bernanke, who have really discredited the Federal Reserve Bank. But Paul Volcker, at that time, did what had to be done, which was to raise interest rates. You're going to force a recession/depression onto the American economy, but it's necessary. This is what the next president is going to face. He's going to face a choice which is not going to be tenable by the American people, which is that they're going to have to experience a severe economic contraction so that there is some balance restored to the economy. But unfortunately, the fear at this point is that the laws have been changed. You know, Hank Paulson has done a power grab. You know, when George Bush came into office, he did a power grab. When 9/11 happened, they did more of a power grab. They have a dictatorial powers now. So now you've got this lunatic, Hank Paulson, with a multi-trillion-dollar hedge fund, who's basically running the economy like a rogue trader. Remember James Curville from Societe Generale, the French bank who lost something like 5 billion euros in a single trade. This is the problem now. Hank Paulson has a multi-trillion-dollar hedge fund, and he doesn't appear to be in complete faculties of his own mental faculties. He appears to have gone insane. Basically, and this is not to be, I'm not overly exaggerating this. He's taken the U.S. economy and he's treating it as really you can't say enough about it's very worrisome, very worrisome.
All right, before we run out of time, let's again talk quickly a little bit longer about the roots of all this and how the U.S. economy ended up in the mess that it is now. Whatever happened to the strong U.S. economy touted by President Bush and his likely successor, John McCain?
There wasn't really ever a strong American economy. There was a lot of debt over the past 30 years, and this debt's been built up. You just look at the average American. They weigh 300 pounds. They waddle around the malls, shopping all day. They're not healthy. This is because there's too much debt in the system. There's too much easy money. Cheap money is what created this problem. And it's been going on for 20 or 30 years. Unfortunately, labor movement in America has been decimated, and they've been told for 20 or 30 years, don't worry, it's a trickle-down economy. Everyone can get rich in America. Well, now when the problems are here, the people who created this nightmare are gone. Cheney's already got his Halliburton Corporation headquartered in Dubai. He's already out of the picture. You see, all these crooks are going to be leaving the country. They're not going to stay for all the rioting that's going to be in America. Remember in Karachi, just a few weeks ago, there was rioting at the stock exchange because of the very same thing that Paulson and Bernanke are doing today on the New York Stock Exchange, imposing price fixing, imposing government intervention.
Thanks very much, Max. I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut you off there. Boy, it looks really bad there. Max Keiser, journalist and broadcaster, joining us live from Paris. Many thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. And that's the end of this broadcast of international news here on Press TV. I'll be back in less than 2 minutes with a roundup of some of the other stories we're covering for you. Please stay tuned.